refraining from any speculations, however, getting an expert point of view. We have Lieutenant General Raj Kadyan with us here on the broadcast, Abhijit Iyer Mitra also with us, and Mr. RSN Singh as well, for a better understanding of what could further unfold in such kind of a situation that has been reported. RSN Singh, sir, what is your reading throughout, sir, as this early morning, this attack, this incident was reported inside the military station in Bathinda, sir?
In fact, frankly, I was expecting, these kind of misadventures, oblique terrorist activities in run up to this G20, tourism meet scheduled for 22nd and 23rd May. Because remember, it's a big geopolitical message that India has sent, across the world. This meet actually puts the final seal on India's abrogation of Article 370 and Kashmir being part of an inalienable part of India. So remember, there is a K2 plan, and this K2 plan had to be put in actions. So if you ask me, what do you expect in future? Well, I expect more of these, misadventure and attempts to carry out terrorist attacks. So I see that this in backdrop, and it is not an ordinary situation. Some leader writing an editorial somewhere, somebody going abroad. I see all this, because remember, there is a significant anti-India element aligned with ISI and pro-Khalistani groups within the country. I don't shy away from telling this. And this is also, if you take Pathankot into account, and now this incident, and various attacks on army installations on the National Highway 1 Alpha. If this is the second, there was earlier an attack in officers' mess in Kashmir. There was an attack on an armored mess, I remember, on National Highway 1 Alpha, and this is the third one. So it is also a message to the people, the strategic policy makers, that this is the nature of warfare that you have to prepare for.
Hello.
Right, sir, because we're not connecting with anything. However, we've heard the ADGP as well, and Nikunj was there to hear that conversation as well, where he had clearly pointed out, saying the terror angle is zero. They are ruling that out for now. But Nikunj, the concerns that is also being raised by Mr. RSN Singh, as there has been in the past, where defense installations have been targeted.
Well, absolutely. Colonel RSN speaks out of his experience. Colonel RSN speaks out of a background. Colonel RSN is giving us a long-range perspective, as they say it in the military theory. The fact of the matter, although, is at this point in time, officially, the Additional Director General of Punjab Police, Mr. Parmar, has categorically told us that the shooters were linked to the army. And he speaks after a gap of almost 6 hours. The shooting took place at around 4:30 a.m. I'm quite sure that in a matter of few hours, army authorities would have contacted their civilian counterparts, because as a matter of protest, as a matter of procedure, the inquest proceedings will have to be necessarily entailing the civilian component of the administration, which is the Punjab Police and the civil administration. So after a gap of hours, at least 3 to 4 hours, remember, there is a passage of 6 hours that he speaks to us post the firing, and after a connection has been established with the military authorities, after that also he speaks after multiple hours. So quite clearly, I would bend the arc of my thought in alignment with what the Additional Director General of Police, Punjab Bathinda range was speaking to us.
We're just breaking this development, Nikunj. Shivani has also sent us this update. I just want to apprise our viewers of this latest update that has now come in. Let's break that story, as it is also being attributed to the Southwestern Command. There is the headquarters that has now released another sort of a statement where it is being saying, and I'm quoting from this very statement that has just been released. It says that it has been ascertained that in the unfortunate incident, 4 army jawans of an artillery unit we are told, has unfortunately succumbed to gunshot injuries sustained during the incident. No other injuries to personnel, loss or damage to property has been reported. The area has been sealed off, and the joint investigation with the Punjab police are being coordinated to establish the facts of the case. All aspects, including the possible case of involvement of the INSAS rifle, along with 28 rounds reported missing 2 days back, are still also being asserted. So this has been an update on the firing incident, as we can also get in a word from Lieutenant General Kadyan on the same, sir. Now it is being coming across as a further clearance on the matter that there has been 4 army jawans of an artillery unit, unfortunately, who have succumbed to their injuries, sir, in this firing incident.
Very, very unfortunate and a very serious incident. Bathinda is the largest cantonment in Asia. It came up in late 1970s. It has a large number of military units apart from a core headquarters. It is in a border state, close to the border, within easy reach of infiltrators from across the border. That angle, I am sure, is being examined. We have had a similar case in Agrota, where also there is a core headquarters which was attacked some years ago. But with the facts available so far, to my way of thinking, it appears a case of fratricide. Because a cantonment like Bathinda, which is housing such a big headquarters, important headquarters, is very well guarded. For an outsider to come at night is very, very difficult. And even if somebody had come in after firing, their going out is almost impossible, since nobody else has been killed. So it is more likely a case of fratricide. Such unfortunate cases have happened in the past in very different units. The army is deployed in very, very difficult situation with 2 border areas. Troops keep going and coming on these border areas. So although the terror angle in a state like Punjab, where there is already a security scare, and with the pro-Khalistan elements trying to raise their head, nothing should be ruled out. Everything should be investigated. But on the face of it, the terror angle may not be there. It may be an internal job, some enmity between soldiers. They're all human beings, and it's a case of fratricide.
Right. Nikunj, what do you make of this?
Well, the latest statement actually corroborates the version that has been coming in right from the time we started this broadcast, somewhere around 9 a.m. And the remit that we have set for ourselves at Times Network continuously on the basis of the facts only seems to be solidifying at this point in time. And as I said, that the Additional Director General of Punjab Police, whose men were on the ground and the first official voice of such ranking official to come on the Times Network, he was very clear and very categorical in his commentary, and he would have spoken after passage of hours. Quite clearly 3 to 4 hours, and that is good enough time for the military authorities first and then their civilian counterparts to ascertain the nature of the attackers at least, and he said that the attackers were associated with the army. However, as I have said, in the latest statement also, the army is requesting that there should not be any speculation, which we at Times Network have scrupulously avoided in the last 2.5 hours. We are restricting ourselves to the basic facts, which is that in an incident of unauthorized firing at the Bathinda military station this morning at 4:30 a.m., 4 people, now believed to be army men, according to the army's own statement, have lost their lives. Previously, we were not even mentioning the denomination to which they belonged. Remember, military cantonments always have a component of civilian population inside them. Therefore, it is not our job to either try to decipher or speculate the people who have been killed in that attack. Now the military comes out in its second statement on the incident and says that the 4 army jawans have been killed. The Additional Director General of Punjab Police also did say that it took place inside the artillery mess. He did not specify whether it was an officer's mess or whether it was OR mess or whether it was JCO's mess. And remember, all military units largely have 3 kinds of messes. So firing took place inside an army installation, very specifically a mess, and in which 4 army jawans have lost their life. And the situation, according to Mr. Parmar, was also completely under the control of both the military authorities and the Punjab police, who are coordinating. And as I've been saying since morning, that this will necessarily entail a civilian investigation, because the CRPC mandates the civil authorities to carry out the criminal inquest or even the civil inquest for that matter. So both the components now on the ground. On the other side of the fence in New Delhi, the brass of the military, the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Defence Staff are all set to brief the civilian leadership of the country. Our colleague Akanksha reporting live from there, and at any point in time Mr. Rajnath Singh would be briefed. And as I said, that at that point in time we can expect either a statement from either the Raksha Mantri's office itself or from the Ministry of Defence, encompassing all the facts that have interplayed or interrelayed since morning. Till then, of course, we are setting ourselves a remit, and we have only been reporting on the facts that
Absolutely.
4 people are unfortunately dead in a deadly incident of shooting, unauthorized firing at the military station at Bathinda in Punjab on our northern borders.
Absolutely no presumptions, no conjecture here. We're just sticking to the statements that have been released officially on part of the army as well. I'm told that Gurpreet is also with us right now. He is en route Bathinda to get us a real sense on the ground exactly what the situation pertains, because the Punjab police's role here as well, Gurpreet, becomes all the more important.
Well, yes, of course, we have seen the top Punjab police officer. They are already in touch with the top military officer, and the investigation is already being pursued. What we can understand, and even the Punjab top police officer, they have revealed very little information, but they have officially confirmed that it seems that there is no terrorist attack on this military station in Bathinda, because a lot of speculation were being raised earlier also, but now officially they had confirmed that they have learned that there is no attack from outside. And in the preliminary investigation, what they have learned from the investigators, they say that firing had taken place inside that military station in Bathinda. So now the whole prerogative of the military officer, they are investigating, and we are not able to get any official information that who are the people who have been killed in this firing which had taken place there. At the same time, the top Punjab police officer, they say there is need to wait for the investigation, because it requires a lot of investigation. At the same time, the whole military station area has been cordoned off. Whether they were civilians or they were the official, that has not been confirmed by the top Punjab police officer. They say it's a matter of investigation that is already been pursuing. But one thing they had made sure officially, they say there was no attack from outside, and it seemed that there is no terrorist attack
Well, it has
on this
happened
station.
within the
And
military
now
station. Abhijit, thank you very much for your patience. I just want to get your thoughts on this incident that has been reported this morning.
Allow me to come in for
Thanks.
1 minute, please.
Look,
Yes, Mr. Singh, I will just come back to you.
beginning, it
Yes.
was right from the beginning. It was quite clear that this could have been a terror attack. You look at where the artillery mess is within the military cantonment. There is perimeter security outside. You need all kinds of ID and security getting in there. You then have to, go through certain checks even inside the cantonment. So they couldn't have gotten all that far inside, without firing through a whole layer of security, getting guns in through a whole layer of security, etc. So this is very clearly something has happened. I mean, I'm still a bit hesitant to say fratricide, but I think it's been very clear for quite some time now that there is no terror angle here. I still don't know what it is. I don't think we should speculate there, but the very location, it would be very useful for your viewers if you could actually get the exact location of the artillery mess and plot it on the perimeter of
We'll be doing that, and our reporters are also reaching there. Abhijit, you just heard Gurpreet, and we have other reporters, Manoj, also reaching the military station. Pradeep is also with us. But your last comments, Mr. Singh, what do you have to say, sir?
No. I mean, if the attack is on officers' mess or JCO's mess, and if Jawans have been killed, say, then obviously these Jawans were doing their guard duties there, isn't it? So how can it become a case of fratricide? And secondly, who says that you cannot infiltrate into a cantonment? So many attacks have taken place before, and I have just 20 days before I was in Bathinda, I have seen the cantonment myself. I don't agree with this, that it is impossible to infiltrate it. There is no, madam, if Pathankot Air Base could be infiltrated with those high, boundary walls.
Right, sir.
I mean, infiltration can take place here also.
But sir, that is still not been confirmed, and we are not going to speculate on that. Nikunj, if you can come in on what Mr. Arasan Singh has been saying. Of course, there have been past incidents, but for now, we're just going to stick with the statement that has been released on part of the army.
Well, absolutely. As I said, Colonel Singh speaks with his experience. He has a vast experience. He is a field officer. What he is saying is completely has a very solid foundational base. He is not making commentary out of thin air. And like a wise man, he is keeping all his options open. But remember, he is an analyst and journalist. We have a remit set at this point in time, and we are not going to at any moment breach that remit, and that remit is that we can only broadcast or relay to our viewers the official statements that have been communicated to us. Army authorities time and again have been cautioning, reiterating, reinforcing, saying that let's not speculate about the nature of this unauthorized firing incident, which has led to 4 unfortunate loss of lives. Colonel Singh, as I said, is a wise man. He is keeping all the options on the table, and why should he not? It's his job to ask questions, and sometimes uncomfortable questions, because what happens is that in the melee of trying to find out the initial preliminary information and put it out, sometimes the real truth of the story gets obfuscated or buried deep. So it's the inquisitive mind, or it is the relentless pursuit of people, of individuals, of analysts like Colonel Singh, which can certainly bring out additional facts, if not the truth. I am not at any moment alluding that there is an attempt to bury the truth.
Expertise would be needed. Looking at the kind of the attack that has taken place, the nature of it, it's something that is still not very clear, but we'll be just sticking to the facts that has also been coming out from the statement.